All right. Good morning, people. Good morning, family. Welcome to my channel again. For those of you that have not subscribed, please do well to subscribe, like, and drop a comment. All right. I want to run down my experience throughout my 6 years in King's College, Lagos. First of all, I want to also use this video to appreciate everybody that have contributed in one way or the other in my life. The Reverend Sisters of Bacheli School for the Blind, Mr. Okwe, Auntie Chinedu, Auntie Joke, Honorable Shino Pella. I want to also use this medium to thank my friends that have made the journey easy, in the person of Fabian, Chukuka, David, Onyeri, and my late friend Charles Okafor, or something, I can't remember his name now. And every other person that I've met in the journey, it has not really been easy, but we did it and we are here. So that's part of the experience I want to share with you. So sit back, you will enjoy, grab your popcorn. Once again, if you haven't subscribed, please do well to subscribe. And note, this speech go between English and Pidgin for my people we know, you understand, we don't really understand English. So sit back as we kick into it. First of all, what is my name? For those of you that are just meeting me for the first time, my name is Chinedu Gabriel Nkwacha, aka Loka-lawya, Lokalawya. So in case you have not followed, please do well to follow me on all social media. Alright, so I came into King's College from Bacheli School for the Blind 2020 set, and I came into King's College January 25th, 2021. That was when I resumed King's College Lagos officially. But that was when our set started. But me, I came in February 27, December 2021. So just days after when my set started, I resumed. Alright. So when I came in, I was in Macrite. For those of you that have gone to King's College with boys, you know the house called Macrite, one of the best houses. But for those of you that don't know, Macrite is yellow. So we have 4 different houses. We have the I. Johnson house, we have the Macrite house, we have the Payne's house, we have the Amas house. So I was in the Macrite house, which was the yellow house. Pretty clean house. The clothes were just like the same like our white, in this kind of big boy white, we don't like things to touch us and stuff. Pretty cool, pretty young guy that just started. When I came into the school, I remember it was on a Friday. I was welcomed by another of my guy. Was my senior. They were my seniors. In the person of Progress, Zacchaeus, and Richard Adisoya. They welcomed me and my other guys. The person of Okwe Ogunkoya, the person of Ferromi, Blessing, Olowe. I was just in their company. I remember when I came in, it was Blessing's check. Yeah, check that I wore first. Ama's house. I wore that. And the first time I ever entered class, I came on a Friday. I never entered class that Friday. I did not enter class on Saturday. So I went to prep on Sunday night. So when I came in, I remember I saw the little boys, who are you? And that was where I met my first friend, in the person of David Oyeri. I remember he was just the only one who stood out. That caught my attention. When he saw me, he was like, oh, what's it? He was trying to speak, diction, phone for me. The guy they tried phone. So he said, oh, what's your name? I said, my name is Gabriel. He said, my name is David. So I was like, okay, what class are you? He said he's in Alpha. So King's College has, I think, 10 classes. A, Alpha, C, D, E, F, G, H, J, K. So that's the way it is in King's College, Lagos. So it was in Alpha, that's opposite my class. Me, I was in A. When I was in junior secondary school, I was in A, JSS 1A, JSS 2A, JSS 3A. So it was in Alpha. So when he came during that prep, he was like, oh, what's your name? So we started exchanging pleasantry, we spoke, and from there we clicked. And he started helping me. And my late friend, Charles Bokoli. So it was my reader. I remember asking all of them, like people that wanted to read for me. I started confusion wise. No be say I don't sharp, you understand? But you know this diagram stuff, um, basic tech, CCA, he assists a lot in that aspect. And it was like that, and David Oyeri became my very close friend. I remember when there were a lot of confusion in the name because that time almost everybody's very Chinedu, Chinedu, Chinedu. In myself were like close to 5, 6 Chinedu in my set alone. And I was like, okay, what will I do? Gabriel too. We had like 3 people behind Gabriel. What will I do? I just got here. I just told him, David, um, my name is loka-lawya. I was like, okay. I said, you didn't know what you do for me. Go and tell your guys because we're in different hostel. I was in Chevron. It was in Sheraton at that time. So we had Sheraton, we have Chevron, we had Abuja hostel, and we had PT hostel. So the Sheraton hostel was for the just one. But because I was a special guy, special student as they call it, I was in the Chevron hostel where the first 5 students used to be. So he used to come to my hostel then. So I was like, you know what, just tell our mates, just tell you guys that they should not call me Chinedu again, they should call me loka-lawya. That was how the guy went. Publish the name, push the name, push the name, push the name. The name started becoming big. Everybody, loka-lawya, loka-lawya, loka. I said, okay, yeah, this is what I want. So we became friends. I remember this is the same guy has passed through a lot for me. So that's why you see I have to thank him in the beginning of the video. You know, we've done things a lot. Like sometimes this guy stop class just to be with me, just to make sure, yeah, my notes are complete. He does not read for me though, but he's this kind of person that he just want to be around me, he just want to see how things goes. I remember the time they punished him because of me. You know, he has chop bullet for me. So this is one of the guy I can never in my life ever forgot. Throughout my stay, throughout my existence in this life, I can never forget David Oyeri because he has gone through a lot for me. Like, and it's funny how history I have it. We were still in the same class in the senior secondary school. Yeah, but we'll get there. We'll get there. So, we do things a lot, and as I was proceeding from just one to just two, but one of the bitter experience I had in just one, when I came into the school, I remember there's no time I don't fall sick throughout my just one. 2 weeks can't go by that I will not go to the clinic when I was in annex. So these are the guys that were with me. I remember one of the bitter experience was the time that there was no water in the school and we just finished eating yam. I can't remember. I can't forget. We just finished eating yam and we were testing, me and my guy Fabian, and we now saw one guy called Femi. What's his name now? I can't really remember his name now. So his name is Femi. So we're like, oh bro, we needed water. We don't know that this guy went to fetch a dirty water for. So there's a toilet in annex. Those of you that went through King's College will know this toilet called Kiriko. So the guy went there, not say date. I will not say date. Like I was trying to date her, but when I started digging to her past, digging to her life, and no, you're not the kind of person I would like to stay. And it's funny that the story behind you going to King's College from Pacheli is very funny. Like, so they see you before they send you to King's College. Then, yeah, apart from real case, there are some people who choose King's College. But at the point I chose King's College though when I was in my basic 4. But the idea of King's College, Queen's College with Pacheli teachers as a then is if you like girls too much, they'll send you to King's College because it's the only boys' school. If you like boys too much, they'll send you to Queen's College because it's the only girls' school. And they believe with that you'll be able to control yourself, you'll be disciplined. But that never stopped me. Yeah, that never stopped me because I had some girlfriends, I had girlfriends. Like I did not really date teachers' children though. I never. But I had girlfriends outside the school. One of the sweet experiences I can't forget was one of the Sundays that we did not go to church because in schools on Sundays I don't even go to church. Like we don't go to church. Just few of us that goes to church, right? So one of those Sundays that we did not go to church. My guys and I were just in our hostel and someone just brought like, come, let's share number now. We'll get connect, there's that kind of stuff. So we just started sharing girls' number, like girls that we've met on Facebook, and we just started. So luckily, one of the number I got, I dated the girl. Yeah, I dated the girl. That was 22. Yeah, I dated the girl. I think that time I was in basic. I was in GSS 2. This girl I was telling you about was in a university. Yeah, she was what's that university? It's a private university. So let's just leave that. Right? I dated her. We were dating. I think we did it for close to a year. No, I don't think it's up to a year. I can't remember right now. But I don't think it's up to a year. And I would not love to call her. I would not like to call her name because of her current boyfriend. So it's not be like say, okay, so let's just really get out of this video. The video is all about me. But I can't talk about me without saying all this experience because it's part of the experience though. You understand? So the idea, the concept in the teachers of Pacheli mind never played out with me 100% though. You understand? So I'm just kind of, we kept pushing, kept falling sick. I remember one of those days again when I wanted to do promotional exam, when I fell sick after I wrote my promotional exam. One of my guys, I forgot. There's another boy of mine, Leonard. Yeah. So it was him, Charles, and David O'Eary. Yeah, they were the people with that. Why on earth would I forgot to Leonard too? So we started pushing. Like I remember one of those days when I felt ill, when I went to, I think it was 2 term. I think we're doing just 1 to 2 or just 2 to 3. I can't even remember. But when I was in just 2, the sickness became mild. Like it reduced. You understand? Like the way I was falling sick when I was in just 1 was not the way I was in just 2. So my body started adapting to the change of environment, the dirty water, the dirty lifestyle, the corrupt lifestyle, the stupid lifestyle, stubborn lifestyle. See, one thing I just love about the school, about the school King's College, they train you in a way that when you get out in the society, you can face anything in life. Like no matter how where you find yourself, like you are positioned to face any challenge. That's just one of the things I like the school for, right? But they never had, and because they never really had special attention when it comes to people living with disability. They never had that. Like so they see you as the regular student, like you were trained like the regular student. Do you understand? So every other thing, like I remember those days, like we walk from when I was in the annex, when I was in the junior side, we walk from Chevron. Those of you that went through King's College, you understand what I'm saying? We walk from Chevron just to go and find water we use and bath. From Chevron to Sheraton, put the bucket in our head, and guess what? When you get to Sheraton, the water is not clean. Imagine using a water that is as colored as Coke or as colored as Fanta. Use it to bath, use it to brush. Sometimes you even drink it. You understand? But we never died, man. So sometimes when I tell people I don't go die until God say I go die, they say I just cap. No, it's not cap because we've gone through things, we've seen through things, and King's College has made us go through things. So I hold the school in deep respect though. But they did some things that I don't really like in the caring of the people living with disability. I think they can do more. They can do more. They can do more. So that's how we did our life. We pushed it till we finished the annex campus. Now we wrote our Becky. Did you know why, as people would call it? And we went to a 4 months break, rested. After resting, started. I came into the annex 2023, September 18th. So I resumed September 17th because it was on a Sunday. September 18th, we officially kicked off. So I remember they were doing orientation for the incoming SS1 students. I never went for the orientation. Yeah, I never went. They picked class. So when I wanted to pick class, I remember I picked my own class on the Friday that week. When I wanted to pick class, I just went to the dining here and my other guy. Azan is his name. He's a special student too. Azan Adebayo. We were all in the same class. So I went with him. When I went to, I just told Azan, you know what? Because I've heard my other colleague, special colleague, saying that, pick class, so pick your class. Where your guy is there, I'm like, okay. So when I went, I started asking. So luckily, in between, in that dining, and I jammed David Oyeru again. I was like, oh wow, David Alpha, which class you did? I was like, guy na SS1G. I was like, that's art class, right? Yeah. So I started looking, and me and him, I started walking around at the same dining, started looking for those people that choose SS1G. That's how I came in to be an SS1G student. Because why? I had my guys there. I could also assist. I can also, just stay with loka-lawya. But that time, the name don't big though. They don't big. So when we came in, some of my guys, or majority of my guys, were in the science class. Like the new that was in science and tech. You understand? Like that. So we picked class. After we picked class, on next Monday, we all resumed. I picked my subject that same day. The subject I was going to offer, I picked it that same day. Mrs. Akonde and one other woman, I can't remember her name right now. So I picked the class. And I remember when I was picking it, when they asked me, what Nigerian language do you want to do? When I said Igbo, all of them were speechless. Like, they were like, Igbo. I said, yeah. But guess what? I never attended that Igbo class for once. I don't even think they even did it. Because I don't think, it was just one person or two people that were desperately looking for the Igbo class. So I think they stopped it. It was just only Yoruba they were having at that time. I did not pick Yoruba, so that was how I stopped Igbo class. I never went for Igbo class. So we kept on like that, started building again. This one now, and when you that know King's College, you know that King's College is divided, right? We have the annex campus at VI, we have the main campus at Topalindi, Catholic Missionary Street. So I started building again from scratch. And now we had other new students that did transfer from other schools to SS1. So you have to rebuild that brand again, locally. So, but my guys that knew me, they were still calling locally. And by that time, the name Chinedu has actually reduced. Yeah, it has actually reduced. So, it know me as Chinedu's. Started building again, reading again. I think the first ever teacher that I met that I could remember I spoke to was the person of Mr. Odogu when I came into main campus. I think before meeting him in the bus, because there was one time we went for outing, I met him in the bus, but now I'm taking that up. Like the first time I met him in the main campus was when I went to the dog shop. So he saw me, was like, hey, you're a new student? I said, yeah. Okay, which class? I said, SS1G. He said, yeah. Do you know about me? I said, I've met you before. He said, yes, you remember. So that's how I started talking about. We did not really talk much. He just told me I'm a literature teacher, I'm an English teacher. I said, no problem. So I just bought my thing and I left. So I started building. When I was in SS1, I never really liked any subject though. I never really liked any subject because why? The teachers were not even quality. Not until they now changed my government teacher. Oh wow. They now brought in Mr. Wali. That man made me love government like. He made me love government. This is the only teacher that will come into the class, when he teaches, like he tells you what happened, like in current days, like, first of all, his method is I talk, you talk, I talk, you talk. Like, it carries everybody along. You understand? Like, it makes you to understand what he's teaching. It tells you the current exchange rate. Anytime he comes to the class, it tells you what's happening in your society before he teaches. Like, it makes you ask questions. So I became in love with the subject, and he noticed it, and he built on it very well. It's me and one of my guys, Fabian. He made us love government. At the point, if we're not in class, if we try stab a class, like we call it stab, when you dodge a class, if we try stab a class, the man we know. That's how versatile we are. Like, that's how big we are now in the class. Like, the man, sometimes he encourages you when you ask a question and you get it, you just give it, take 200, take 300, depending, right? So that man made me really, really love government. So I love government throughout my stay in the main campus. I love CRS because the teacher too was the kind of teacher that makes, calls my name almost every time. Chinedu, 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 Chinedu. Like, I can't sleep. I can't just sleep in the class. Like. So government and CRS were my best subject. Who was my English teacher? Mr. Balogu. I don't really like his class is calm, but you can understand what he's teaching. Literature teacher, Mrs. Bamidele. That woman made me hate literature. Until now, like, it affected me to the point that thank God for Mrs. Agu, and thank God for Mr. Odogu that now came to revise and revamp my class before we started having interest, because we never understood what was happening in literature. We never had the basic literature experience. We never had it. I will lie to you. My mathematics. So King's College had it in a way that we had general maths teacher, we had special maths teacher. So my general maths teacher at that time was Miss Salima. My special maths teacher was Miss Dokumu. When I was in all these names I'm calling when I was in SS1. What other subject was I even doing? I can't even remember what the subject I did again in SS1. So, government teacher, okay, I've said it, Mr. Wale. Civic teacher, it was still my civic teacher. Mr. Wale was my government and civic teacher. What other subject was I doing? I did not do biology. Yeah, I never did biology. Okay, digital tech. That time it was DP, data processing. Mrs. Shokumbi. Yeah, I love that because I love tech too. I love tech. My ICT teacher was what's that name again? Eidiame, Mrs. Eidiame. That was my ICT teacher. It's different from my my DP teacher, which is called digital tech now. What other subjects? I think that's all. I never offered many subjects. I offered just 9. Yeah, I offered 9 subjects when I was in SS1, 8 subjects when I was in SS2, 8 subjects when I was in SS3, and 8 subjects. That was what I wrote in WAEC and NECO. Do you understand? So we started building like that. I became, close to my warden, the person of. I was not that close to Mr. Nofi. Yeah, I was not that close to Mr. Nofi. But when I came, when he was there, I was still in SS1 trying to build my life, like trying to build my, myself. So I was not that close to him. But when he left when I was still in SS1. Towards the ending, they brought in Mr. Abraham. We fought. I remember when they brought Mr. Abraham. We had issue. After having the issue, we became close. So I was close to Mr. Abraham throughout. So I started becoming close to my teacher. When I got to SS2, story changed. I was already the big boy. Yeah, the name was already there. But the loka-lawya name was still building. And I had some teachers' number. So different teachers, different stroke, different places. I was too popular in King's College that at the point I had name in different places. In the clinic, I was not called loka-lawya. In the clinic, I was called Tiger. Yeah, shout out to Mrs. Badnos though. Mrs. Mabel, Nurse Nifemi Oguni, Mr. Charles, Mr. Steven in the clinic. That was in the clinic department. So I was called Tiger. Some part of the school I was called Chinedu, some part of the school I was called, loka-lawya, just different names. But I all answered everything. So SS2 I started building more, started penetrating, having having grants. And guess what? Throughout my stay in the school, King's College Lagos, I never performed more than once. Yeah, I never performed more than once. Like, and the only time I performed was on the Teachers' Day in this current SS3, October 5th. I think so. Yeah, that was when I performed once. So throughout my 5 years, I never performed. So that day I performed, that was when so many teachers got to know that okay, this guy is an artist. Some people knew then. Some people knew. So when I was in SS2, my teachers then were English, Mrs. Ekilama. That one is even following me. The woman is even following me. Shout out to you, mama. Shout out to you, Mrs. Ekilama. My literature teacher, Mrs. Agu. That's another close teacher. That's another close teacher of mine. But we still chat. We still chat. My government teacher. When I got to SS2, I started losing interest in government because I never understood the teaching. Just the idea I had in SS1. Because now I started making research, I started reading, other government sources. So the government stuff was still there. Who was my government teacher? Mr. Ebenezer. He tried his best though. Civic teacher, I think it was, I can't remember. Civic teacher. Okay, it was one man, Mr. Uyas or something. Uyus, I can't even remember his name. But he has retired before, I think, was that Mrs. Yandan? I can't remember. Civic teacher. And my mathematics teacher, general mathematics teacher in the class was Mrs. Emalose or Miss Emalose. While my special math teacher when I was in SS2 was Miss Omole or Mrs. Omole. What was the subject? My digital tech teacher, which was DP, as I said, as I then was Miss Ayobami. Economics, I forgot to mention economics teacher too in SS1. I did economics too. It was Mrs. Stella in SS1. SS2, it was Mr. Emmanuel. What other subject did I do? I can't remember. So I think SS2, I did 8 subjects. And throughout my stay, I never did biology. So I never did biology. But biology teacher was senior body house master when I was in SS1, Mr. Oshifala. You understand? And SS3 too. It was just like that, having fun. Now the struggle, we're discriminated like a lot. It was sometimes right from annex, right from the junior side. Some teachers would tell their people that they are getting that don't follow them. Blind is contagious, so don't follow them. So we were discriminated a lot. As I said, the school trained us in a way that we could face any society. Like there was, but all thanks to Pacheli though, because before we left, Pacheli had made us understand that the world is not the way they see us. Yeah, they made us understand that the world cannot accept us the way they themselves are accepting us. So we were highly discriminated in the society when I came into the school. But we fought that until we started having our place. And it was just like that. Pushing, studying, trying to build name, trying to build popularity, trying to understand school. But one thing I would like to you have to be popular sometimes to get some certain things. You have to be in some different settings to be in a certain place. Like in between when I was in the main campus, I was close to one of non-teaching staff in the store, because that was when we used to charge our phone, our laptop, our devices there. You understand? So it was rough, it was smooth. So I can't just say, I remember one of those days too. I think when I was in Alex, I can't remember. Yeah, I think I was going to the toilet, I just matched. Like the school was so unkept. It was not even, they were not even planning to even do it in a way that it will favor you that you are a person living with disability. No. But all thanks to this current new principal that is trying his best, the person of Mr. Magaji Sakarayat is trying his best to make sure the school looks clean, make sure the school is kept, is neat. All thanks to him. So the experience are large, the experience are much, the experience are bittersweet experience. Well, all thanks to the people that has made my day, my years in King's College amazing. Without these names, okay, in between, so I had special teacher. Special teacher. The person name is Mr. Femi. That teaches us computer. But now if one computer share go pay. Go pay. Because I remember I paid for the production stuff while I learn. But I don't even later even finish. I don't even know what happened. I didn't even finish. But I just hope I learn it again. I still remember at least I learned the basic. We were planning to go into mixing. That was where I go back. You understand? Learn some certain things. You understand? So the teachers right now that I know that we collabo, we close, we chat amongst ones. Miss Ekilama, Miss Agu, Mr. Odogu. When I was in SS3, my general maths teacher in SS1 was now my special maths teacher in